Greetings. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how CMS Made Simple can be used to build and manage a high school website. In order to do that, I'm going to show you an example of one of the websites I've built, harwood.org, as you can see here. So what we have here is that we have a top bar of shortcut buttons, the school logo and header, the menu. We actually have two menus here for this school. We've got the main menu, which is a pretty typical high school menu, and then we have a photo slider and the school's mission statement here as well. The point of the photo slider is to show some updated photos and let viewers get an idea of what's going on at Harwood. And the photos, in one way or another, should align with the mission. Underneath here we have a breadcrumbs so people know where they're at in terms of navigation, some sharing features. And then we have the page split up into three columns. The way this template is built, it can be either two columns, a thin column and a thicker column, a wider column, or one column, or three columns as you see. On the left hand side we have the search function to search the site, and then this is the second menu, and this is the quick links menu. In the middle we have the latest news, a link to the middle school website, and a link to the RSS feed for the news so people can subscribe to the news. Here we have a link to the Common Ground blog, which is the student newspaper, as you can see, of Harwood Union High School, and it links to their blog. This links to Harwood's Facebook account, their Twitter account, and then their YouTube account. I suppose you could say we have three menus here, because we have a link to the daily announcements, a link to subscribe to them, weekly newsletter, subscribe to the weekly newsletter, the Harwood News, which is basically everything here, but everything, all on one big page. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. Harwood Happenings, that's a link to a blog where anybody in the community can post anything to, but anything they post is moderated by me first. So, and then Tech Tips. Here we have upcoming events. The athletic director at this school uses a special calendaring software, so we've simply embedded a feed from her calendar software. It would be just as effective to use a Google Doc and embed from a Google Doc, as I'll show you later. Again, and then we just have some links to some academic resources, little weather, and then some other random widgets. The Contact Us button is in a slider. The reason we put it in a slider is to prevent spamming from occurring, because a computer is not smart enough to open this and send spam. So what it allows us to do is have the comments box and the feedback box here without people having to enter any sort of annoying CAPTCHA or security devices. And again, it's got our mission. It's got the Harwood mission there. We've got a little photo gallery, some YouTube videos, latest news, school board news, and then an EDU20 login, which is the learning management system of choice at Harwood. And then, of course, contact information and other web information. Let's see. So let me show you a few things. So let's see. Daily announcements. That's all pretty straightforward. So you can get an idea of the power of the news feed by looking at the Harwood newsletter. And there's quite a bit of media. There's a lot of media on the page, so this is going to be the biggest page to load, but you'll see prom portraits are available, prom video, music of Spirit Week, a lot of rich media in the news, which is great. Bernie Sanders. People can scroll down through here at the end of the year and really get a good idea of everything that's gone on at the school. I also wanted to show you quickly a teacher page. So I developed a sample teacher page because most teachers here at Harwood have, this is a new website this year, So most teachers have been using, if they're using a website at all, if they have any sort of web presence, they've already developed it. So there's not a lot of teachers using this in particular. But again, so this is an example of the 3-column web type. So, Mr. Hinchin's page, U.S. history, history on film, some images, breadcrumbs. This is the example of a Google Calendar embedded. Students can click here and see more details. They can go to the full Google Calendar and see the assignments. This is the blog, and I restyled this after Woodstock just to show you a little bit about how the blog can be styled any way you want. This should be a PDF icon, but I haven't finished styling it. Useful links, some tech tools, some videos embedded, contact information, a daily history quote widget. Check it out. We've got a what's going on this day in history, factcheck.org, one of my favorite resources, and then of course VPR, NPR, and some other photos and videos useful for the class. You also see a little widget over here where kids can actually leave a voicemail, and this is a free tool called SpeakPipe. It's currently free, so they can go ahead and leave a message, blah blah blah. They can enter their name if they want, or email, or just click send, and the teacher will get a voice message in their email, which they can actually, with a link that they can actually respond via voicemail back to the student. It's a pretty cool little plugin. So that's a teacher page. Now, of course, that's all the content. The quick links, the news, the announcements, the links to papers, the mission, and of course, all of these can be dramatically different on your site. They can look dramatically different colors, dramatically different button types, graphics, visuals. But most schools are going to have pretty much the same sort of content expectations. It's just going to be how they look. So let me show you a little bit about the back end. There's a login at the bottom, and I think my screen recorder's cutting it off a little bit, but you'll get the idea. So this is how we log in to CMS Made Simple. Actually going to remember that. And so what we're doing here is we're entering the back end of the website. So I don't know if I clicked submit. There we go. So we're entering the back side of the website, the Harvard Union Content Management System. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is click this little magnifying glass, which is going to open up the full website in another tab. So now we can go from the back end to the front end. So in the back end, there's kind of a lot here. It doesn't need to be. The first thing you need to know about this content management system is that you can adjust how it looks for different levels of users. So for instance, you could have, if there was just a user that managed one page, they would have their preferences, and they would have content, and then they would have the CMS, and that would be it. And under the content, instead of having all this stuff, they would simply have pages and news. Under preferences, they would have these 3 tabs. So you can dramatically simplify the user interface depending on the user, whether it be a teacher, student, department member, what have you. So the very, 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 very cool thing about CMS Made Simple over Joomla or Drupal is its simplicity in the back end. Okay, it's not extremely simple for the developer. It actually requires a bit more developing expertise and a lot more style and design expertise. But for the end user, for the final user, it is very simple. And the biggest reason is because if this is where you go to add content. And again, usually layout, users and groups, extensions, and site admin are not going to even be there for the casual user. All they're going to see is content. And for most people, they'll probably have the image manager, the file manager, and news, and then pages, of course. So they're going to say, well, I want to add something to my page, so it's intuitive. You go to pages. In Joomla, they're called articles and modules. In WordPress, they're called posts. And you can have a post be a page, or a page can be a series of posts. it's not that intuitive for the average user. CMS Made Simple is much more intuitive. And here you go, it just shows the current pages and it makes sense. It's listed as it is in the main menu or in the two menus. So as you'll notice, there's a quick links bar, and everything under here is exactly what's on, the quick links menu. And then this bar is everything else. So it's very, 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 very easy. Now, it's a school website that we've built over 2 years, so there's a lot of pages, but everything makes sense. Now, once again, if you're editing, if you're a teacher and you only have, control over one page, you can be given control over just one single page. So literally all you would see is your page here. You're not going to see the other 200 pages on the Harvard website. You'll see just your page. I'm going to go to the sample teachers page just to show you how the template works. So when you click on the page, it's going to load. And again, I'm going to show you on the front end. I'm going to go to that page. So let's see, under academics, teacher web pages, Mr. Henshin's page. And just to remind you, okay, so there's some things that the editor can change. So the things that the editor can change are, the editor can choose to have a photo gallery here. They can change this content block. So this is a content block that's editable. This is a content block that's editable, and I put in my calendar feed. These are fed from the news module. I'll show you that in a minute. And then all these other blocks are editable. So what I mean by that is you're going to get the main content, which is the blog. Okay, and this is called Smarty Code. And what Smarty Code does is it basically tells the content block to show some content from another module. So this is saying pull the content for this block from the news module using the category Henshin and the template Woodstock. Okay, and show 4 articles. So that's exactly what it's doing. It's showing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you want to see more, you can advance and see more. All right. I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you the news module in a moment. So that's the main page. All right, and now here's some other options, and this is where we would identify the users or the editors, and you can give access to groups as well. Some advanced options, you can actually use an expiration date for pages, certain pages. These are the header options, and it simply says, would you like to add a slideshow? If so, enter a plus. If not, enter a negative. So I entered a plus, and I gave the link to the gallery, and I could show you how to use galleries as well. This is the space to the right of the slideshow, and you'll see you can't see it right now because it's white font because there's a black background. This is sort of a more higher end sort of option. Most teachers may not have a slider in their web page. So here's some left sidebar options, right sidebar options, page options, footer options. Okay, so if you'd like a left sidebar, you can enter plus. So that gives you that left sidebar. If you'd like a box on the left, you can enter a plus. You can enter the title of the first styled box here, and then the content. So once again, I'm going to go to HTML to show you this is the embed code that the Google Calendar gives you. And I would, of course, have tutorials on how to do all of that stuff. And then a second styled box. So yeah, I want a box that says contact me, and I'm going to have this information in there. Well, that's going to show up right here. Okay. Any non-stylized content on the left. Okay, so that's the left content bar. Here's the right content bar. Same thing, useful links. I'm just going to enter my links in there. If I want a new link, I'm just going to enter in the link, and I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to go to link, and www.google.com. I'll update. It'll tell me, do you want that prefix? I'll say sure, and that's it. Okay, so my recording time is about done for this first 15 minutes. When I come back, I'm going to show you the rest of the page, and the news and gallery modules. Alright, I'm back. So let's see. So we left off, we were looking at how to add content to another page. We added a new link here. We were looking at the right sidebar where we've got tech tools. You'll see WeVideo, Aviary, PhotoFlexer. Again, here's the tech tools. And then if you'd like any non-stylized content, here's the YouTube videos that I put in here. And so that's the right sidebar. Now the rest of the page, sliding content area in the middle of your page. Again, if you want it, you just simply enter a plus. So it's very easy and self-explanatory, even for your average teacher to add multiple different chunks of content. It's almost like a wiki, but instead of just having one editable area, now there's as many editable areas as they would like. Again, you don't see any content here because that was an HTML widget. So that was a widget that were entered there, and that's a widget as well. And of course, I could build tutorials on how to add widgets and videos and embeds and all of that good stuff, but a tech-savvy teacher will know how to do that already, and that knowledge will start to spread throughout the school. So content block for the bottom left, again, so the bottom left, these are widgets. So these are all widgets, all HTML widgets. These are cool. The only problem with some of these is most of them are done in Flash, which means that you will not be able to see those on the iPad. So it's better to use JavaScript widgets if you can. And then we have the footer options. So this is the video, the trailer for our school's Student Voice Initiative. These are the 3 videos that you see on the bottom of the screen. So again, it's very, these 3 videos here. It's very modular. It's very easy to, to mix things up. And you can have a very complex page, or you can just have a pretty basic page. Let's say, for instance, let's look at the school lunch menu. This is just going to be a single page with a slider. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the library icon. So the librarian actually loves WordPress, and she wanted to create her website using a WordPress blog. And as you can see, there's absolutely no problem integrating, integrating WordPress or other blogging, formats. So if a teacher or a librarian wants to use something else, no problem with this CMS. Let's see here. So let's go to Student Services, Food Services. There we go. And again, we'll see just a basic slider and this image, single page, no footer, no contact us, no anything. Just one page, one image, very simple. They got to fix their image there. So let's refresh that page. There we go. So that's the pages. Now again, there are some special modules. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'm going to go back to my page, and you'll see that new link. But I also want to let you know, so there's a few other ways of adding content for the more advanced users. You can set up a news feed, or there's also a blog feed. They're pretty much the same. The only difference is that the blog, with the blog, you can post something. You can make a post show up on multiple pages. And with news, it's pretty much just one page. But both of these modules work the same. And basically, you create, the designer, myself, will create the summary templates and the detail templates. That's how the post will actually look. The end user is just going to simply be using this. So they're going to add an article. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add a news article. You can just give it a title. So I'm just going to say sample news. Choose the category. So if you have a bunch of teachers using this, like for instance, for my page, I can put it on my page. So I'm going to put it on Henshin. Okay. And this is a summary. So if you want a summary, you can use a summary, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. And then the main content. Now I can set it if I want to use an expiration date. So if it's something that's happening on December 14th and then that's it, I can set it to automatically go away on December 14th, which is actually extremely handy because what this allows you to do is whoever is managing the calendar and upcoming events and all that great stuff, they don't have to enter things in twice, which means that your website doesn't become bloated with outdated material. So it's a very, very, very important feature. We'll go ahead and click submit and we'll see what that looks like. So I'll refresh my page and I'll see a basic little sample news blog now. So the title, which is also a link if they want to click, actually I disabled that. So click read more. So here's the summary, okay, if I've used the summary. And if I don't use a summary, then there's no read more button. It's just, it is what it is. If I want to click here to read more, it takes me to a full-size page, and there's the content, okay, which I can then print if I would like to, or I can just return back to that previous page. So that's the news feed. It's very, very, very simple. And then the last module that you probably will be using is the photo gallery. So there's a million and one photo editing and photo sharing websites out there, but this has a built-in gallery, and the beauty of this is that you can have many, many different templates, so you can make it make your gallery look extremely different. Once again, that would be done by the designer in the back end. So here's what we have. We have a series of galleries, and this is for this school year. So 2011-2012, and there's athletics in general, library, music, and a test gallery, and all the different headers, for the school. So this is where, photos would go. And I could show more of that in person if you're interested. But I want to make sure I have enough time to talk about some of the more advanced features. So I've talked mostly about what the end user would be using. There should be somebody at the school whose job it is, whose responsibility it is to actually manage a website and possibly make changes. So what I'm going to do is I will build the initial templates and style sheets and the menu manager. But there'll be somebody at your school who can access these and modify them. So for instance, I'll give you an example of the template. So the template we use is generally Harwood Interior. This is what I do. This is the difficult stuff in the back end to make the end user to make the end user experience as easy as possible. So these are all the instructions. This is the entire template. And this is the style sheet that's attached. So the template is where the HTML code is to tell the page what to do. The CSS is where you tell the page what to look like. So the HTML essentially tells the page what to do and what chunks there will be. The CSS tells each chunk what to look like and where to go. So this can be changed. So for instance, if you wanted the background, if you wanted the body to look a little bit like a different color, I don't know what color that's going to be, but I'm going to apply that, and we'll see what Harwood's website looks like. It's going to be instead of the yellow here, there's going to be a different color momentarily as soon as this loads. Oh, actually, that's a different div. Let me show you what I mean. Let's see. That's the heading font. These are the images. Navigation. I'll pause the video while I get something to show you. Okay, so what I was doing, I was showing you the wrong template for the page. So I was changing the template and the style sheet, but the page I was showing you the changes on didn't connect to that style sheet. So this is the home page of the Harwood website, and again, you'll see the background color here, and I can change that in the spreadsheet. So from EEE, I can go to FFF, and I'll apply it, You can see when it dims there that that's made the application, and then I can refresh the page and we'll see this color change. It'll be a different shade of yellow. And just to maybe make it a little more clear, we'll do blue. Make that application, refresh the page, and this will turn to blue. So that's how that changes. I won't change that back before anybody sees it. So that's how style sheets work. So again, the templates essentially is where all of the the HTML code is, and the HTML tells what the blocks on the page will look like, what the blocks will be, well, not what they will look like, but what the blocks on the page will be. A menu, news bar, sidebar, news chunk. They will identify all of the chunks, and then the CSS, which is attached to it, will style it. They will actually tell each block, each chunk, what to look like, and those are the things that I will develop. But you, as a school, will have total control over that. And that's, again, this is another huge advantage of using an open source content management system. Is, unlike the school sites and School Fusion, and all of those, Edline, all of those school website builders, you're using their CMS, but you don't have access to the back end. You don't have access to the root, which means if you wanted to change something, change the look, you're going to have to pay them big bucks to do that. Once I set this up for you, you guys are going to own it, and you'll be able to do whatever you want to do with it. And there's millions, there's not millions, but there's hundreds of different modules and many different things you can do with the site. And it's going to be yours at absolutely no cost beyond, just the cost of hosting it. So I think, that's about it. You get a flavor of the CMS. Once again, the most important things, you've got pages, and it's clear what the pages are. If you want to add a new page, you simply, select Add New Content, and, the basic content type comes up, and you just do a new page, and copy that. You can have the menu text different than the title of the page if you'd like, but generally I keep them the same. This is where you choose the parent, so I'm going to put that under the home icon, or let's say I'll just put it under, I'll put it under home, and then subscribe to the daily announcements. So that's going to be the parent. Here's the content of the page. I'm not going to use a gallery module or any of that other content. I'm just going to click submit, and then I'm going to go and refresh this page as soon as that's done loading, which is now, and then we'll see your new page. And it's quite honestly just as simple as that. So under home, oh, I disabled that other parent. I disabled home, anything under home, so it doesn't show up. So daily announcements. Let's see. Anything under the communication. So, okay, so that comes up over here. Oops. All right. Well, if you want to change the location of those, let's see. So daily announcements, subscribe to daily announcements. There's a little drop-down box here. I can actually click that, and we're going to change that to something a little more intuitive. Let's say you want a new page for, oops, I keep hitting the wrong button. Let's say you want a new page under admin. So there's about us, there's activities. I need to slow down here. Student services, admin, and apply the change. You'll see that, and then when we refresh the page, that page will be there. So new page. Click on new page, and there's not going to be anything but one content box, and that's what we wanted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and submit that, and I'll show you how to delete it. Well, actually I won't show you because My 15 minutes are almost up. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me.